Hey there, I'm Incomp. Hope you enjoyed your Valentine's Day. This weekend's skin is Specious, made by ZZZ. The theme is cute but evil. This screen is actually pretty good, though it's not what I expected cute but evil to look like. Though I can see how it works. On one hand, you've got these weird CRT filters up top. It reminded me of the music video for Flickr. On the other hand, you got some anime girls on the bottom, covering up the O2 logo. The color schemes between the two work together very well, and the cropping job is good enough. Anyway, to the individual elements. The selection tabs up top have been turned into rounded rectangles without any notable drops in quality. The top section is bright enough to match the anime girls on the bottom while staying dark enough to keep the text over it visible. The song buttons are empty. Reminds me of me. While this element isn't downright ugly, it looks like a placeholder. The lack of a background on them causes a white text to be tougher to read when certain maps are selected. The bottom buttons are decent, they look good and they match the skin's theme. The mod icons also fit the theme, but I think this font was not a good choice. It's not easy to read. The variations in the character sizes are a bit obnoxious. There's some inconsistent casing. For example, Hard Rock is in all caps, while No Fail is in all lowercase. The letters go off the icons, and they should not be doing that. Also, AD? Really? The rest of the buttons are fine. Really nice job on the profile section too. The ranking screen isn't bad at all. It's better than most, but it does have some shortcomings. To start, the lack of titles on the ranking panel, like max combo and accuracy, means that players who are really new would probably get confused about what these numbers mean. Of course, those players wouldn't know how to get a skin anyway, but it's just a case of bad design. The hit bursts are really small and blend in with most backgrounds. I'd recommend enlarging them and giving them a dark glow similar to the numbers on the panel. One thing I noticed is the inconsistencies with the shapes and their glows. For example, the glow around the ranking panel is much more intense than that of any other element. The thickness is also different. At a glance, these issues aren't readily apparent, but they are definitely noticeable. The buttons beneath the grid could stand to be a bit larger and give them a more intense glow as well. But everything else about the ranking screen is great. The gameplay of the skin is very minimalistic, surprising absolutely no one. The theme of the skin is still kept, however, by means of the combo colors, the key input overlay, and the health bar. Speaking of that health bar, I have no idea what the skinner was going for. I mean, yeah, it does its job, but it looks like they just swiped across the screen with a brush. It doesn't look cute, nor evil, nor some combination of both. The key input overlay would be fine, but I noticed that the numbers tend to poke off of the tabs. The multicolor hit circles are a nice touch. The colors on the cursor are intense enough to prevent it from getting lost. These sliders have a bit of a problem though. Their reverse arrows look very similar to the slider ball. That can cause some misreads. The spinner might look okay, but there's very little visual feedback for the spinning. The only feedback is the pattern on one of the rings rotating, and that RPM font looks gross and very out of place. The spinner icon itself is just a circle, but I will assume that to be a stylistic thing. The pause and fail screens are fine. The pass and fail icons are fine too. And the hit sounds are pretty standard, mostly being from aesthetic. Song selection gets a 4. The screen looks really nice and the theme really shows. However, the generally poor mod icons along with the empty song buttons keep the screen from getting a 5 from me. The ranking screen will get a 3. There's not really a lot to say about it, though I think that the biggest problem with it is the lack of polish. It could use a lot of little tweaks and changes, and it makes me feel like I'm grading someone's rough draft. The gameplay gets a 3.5. While the gameplay is more polished than the ranking screen, I definitely think that there's a few tweaks that would improve things. When you're going for a very minimalistic style with your gameplay, you really need to rely on your polish to make it good. Take a look at Red Glass or Blueberry for examples of polished gameplay. All things considered, Specious will get a 3.5. It's better than the average skin, but there's still plenty of room to improve. Visuals get a 4 and playability gets a 4. And before I go, join our Discord.